Okay, so they tell us in this question that the horizontal axis is the one that represents the time. Which one is horizontal, X or Y?
What's horizontal? Yeah.
Okay, good.
Across, right?
X.
Across or east.
And then they tell us that the vertical axis represents distance from a point. So starting point, we don't know, but it's the person's distance from the starting point. So this is the vertical axis, and that's the Y. Stop there for a sec. So Leonard's taking his younger brother from his home to the playground. This is really important. I want you to write that next to the graph. The graph is going from home to the playground. Okay?
Okay, because on EQEO,
Okay, and they tell us on the y-axis that we're looking at a distance from the park. So the distance is measured from their house. Yeah, so this should say distance from their house. I wanna go over this again, okay? We're looking at how steep a line is. So I'm gonna draw two lines, line A and line B. Which line would you say is steeper, just for my drawing? A is steeper, okay? If a line looks steeper, it means that the person is going faster. This is really important to know because when you're describing the different parts of the trip, you also want to describe when they're going faster and when they're going slower, okay? The faster you go, the steeper the line will be. So let's just look at the graph for a second. Can you tell me which part of the trip, A, B, C, D, or E, was the fastest? So from section A, the boys walk at a constant speed, traveling 240 meters in 4 minutes. How do we know that it's 240 meters in 4 minutes? This is why we started with reading a graph. Let's look at where they start and where they end. How far have they traveled at the ending point here? How far have they traveled? How far have they traveled? I want you to label this point on your graph. So they've been traveling for 4 minutes, right? 4 minutes, and they've traveled 240 meters at that point. So they traveled 240 meters in 4 minutes. That's the first part of the trip. That was at one speed, okay? So what was their rate? How many meters per minute? How do you calculate rate? Who remembers? So we're gonna take 240 and divide it by 4, right, to calculate the unit rate. So how many meters per minute? What's 240 divided by 4? 60 meters per minute. So section A, they were traveling at a speed of 60 meters per minute. Okay, let's look at section B. Okay, so from here to here, from B to C, we know that B is at 240 meters. Where does he stop? What is the coordinate of C? What is the point where C is located? Raise your hand, please. After 6 minutes, they're 420 meters away from their house. So how far did they travel from B to C? How far did they travel here? If they were at 240 meters and they reached 420 meters, what's 420 take away 240? 180 meters. From here to here, only 2 minutes passed. So they traveled 180 meters in 2 minutes. They started running. What do you notice about the line? Line B, is it steeper or less steep? It's steeper. They're going faster, okay? So what is the rate for section B? If it's 180 meters in 2 minutes, what's 180 divided by 2? 90. 90, good. So that section is 90 meters per minute. Now section C, there's a typo. Okay, and these guys already pointed it out. It should say 30 meters in 1 minute. Okay, so the rate here is 30 meters per minute. So the next minute that they're walking, they're traveling at a rate of 30 meters in the minute. Is section C slower or faster than section B? Slower, good. Now, this section, it's a horizontal line, it's flat. What's happening? They're stopped. Excellent. Where are they? They're at the park. Exactly. They're at the playground. The whole point of this trip was going from their home to the playground. So now they're stay at the swing for how much time has passed? They got there. approximately, they got there around the 7-minute mark and they left at the 10-minute mark. So how long are they at the park for? 3 minutes. It's kind of a boring trip, isn't it? They're at the park for 3 minutes. If they're not, if they're not moving here, they're at the park, how many meters did they travel? Sorry, it's this one. They traveled 0 meters at that point. They did not move.
Right.
They were there for 3 minutes, but they're not traveling.
So that's
Now I want you to pay attention to the direction of this line. It's going down. It's opposite from the beginning. Well, the beginning it shows their distance from the park, which was increasing, means they're getting further from the park. Now that their distance is decreasing, what's happening? Where are they going now at this part? They're going home. Excellent. I want you to write that
how
down.
do you know that they're going home? Because
back
at the
home.
beginning we established what?
This, I told you at the beginning, this should have said distance from home. This is wrong because their distance from home is increasing. They're getting away from home, and now their distance is decreasing, which means they're getting closer to home. Okay, so the last part, what do you think's happening? So from their house to the park, we had different steepness of lines. So they're going slower, then they're getting faster. What's happening on the way back? They're running. It's just one straight line, which means they're doing the same speed the whole way from when they leave the park till they get home. And they traveled 450 meters in 5 minutes. What is that? What is their rate? What is their speed for the last part? What's 450 divided by 5? 90 meters per minute. Okay, and this is actually the fastest. So those of you who predicted that section E was the fastest, you were correct. That is the steepest. When walking away from his home, the line slopes up or down. Look, this is when he's walking away from home, right? He's going towards the park. Up, good. When walking toward his home, so when he's going back home, which way does the line slope? Down, good. When standing still, so this part, the line is horizontal.
There's no movement.
Horizontal. Now moving quicker, is the line steeper or less steep? Steeper. And Adrian, when moving slower, the line is less
Adrian,
steep.